Have you ever wondered what keeps your devices in motion? Let's explore the force behind it. The DC motor. A DC motor converts electrical energy into motion, making our gadgets come to life. It may look like a simple cylindrical component, but inside, it houses a rotating shaft surrounded by a coil in a magnetic field. When electricity flows through the coil, it generates a force that turns the shaft, driving movement. In circuits, the DC motor plays a vital role in transforming electricity into mechanical motion, powering gears, wheels, and more. In diagrams, look for the circle with an M inside, the symbol of motion. Imagine it like a bicycle. The DC motor is the pedals and chain. The electricity is the rider's energy. When they pedal, or when electricity flows, the wheels turn. More energy means faster pedaling and quicker movement. Less energy, slower pedaling, and the bike slows down. This is a magnet. It has two ends, a north pole and a south pole. It naturally pulls in certain metal objects, like these paper clips. When you bring another magnet close, opposite poles pull together, while like poles push apart. Magnets don't have to look like this. They can come in different shapes, such as flat ones like this. You can think of this magnet as always active. It never turns off. That's why it's called a permanent magnet. Inside, tiny magnetic regions called domains are all lined up in the same direction. But later, I'll show you a type of magnet where this isn't always the case. Let's take one of our permanent magnets, drill a hole in the middle, and place it on something that lets it spin freely. Now, if we bring another magnet close, our spinning magnet will turn and align so that opposite poles face each other. Now, let's flip the side magnet. The same poles push away, and opposite poles pull together. If we keep swapping the side magnet, the spinning magnet keeps turning. This spinning motion is very important, and we'll return to it soon. Here's a metal bolt. It's not a magnet. Inside, it has magnetic domains, but they're pointing in different directions. Now, let's take a wire, wrap it around the bolt a few times, and complete a circuit. When electricity flows through the wire, it forces the domains to align. That means we've just made a magnet, specifically an electromagnet. It works like a permanent magnet. It can lift metals and has north and south poles that attract and repel other magnets. But electromagnets are special because they can be switched on and off, just like a light bulb. You can't do that with a permanent magnet. Now, watch what happens when we flip the battery. The electric current was flowing one way, but now it moves in the opposite direction. This makes the poles of our magnet switch places. North becomes south, and south becomes north. This is called reversing the polarity of an electromagnet. Instead of flipping the battery, we can also just switch the wires. Now let's return to our spinning magnet. This time, we replace the spinning magnet with our electromagnet. As soon as we connect the wires, it turns on and aligns with the side magnet. In reality, connecting the wires like this would stop it from spinning freely. But the important idea is the concept of a spinning electromagnet. Now let's switch the wires again to reverse the poles. The same poles push away, and opposite poles pull together. If we keep flipping the polarity, our electromagnet will keep spinning. To make this stronger, let's bring in another permanent magnet on the side. One side has its south pole facing in, and the other side has its north pole facing in. Together, these magnets help spin the one in the center. This setup is the basic idea of an electric motor, but we need to refine it. Instead of two side magnets, we can use curved magnets for more power. And instead of a bolt with wires, we'll use a metal loop. This is called the armature. Now, let's connect our wires and complete the circuit. Let's understand one of the important concepts, the right-hand thumb rule. According to this rule, if we place our right hand in such a way that the thumb points in the direction of the force, the index finger in the direction of current, and the middle finger in the direction of the magnetic field, then we can see how these three are related. This helps us easily determine the direction of each component using this hand gesture. You can see that when the current flows northward, then the magnetic field is directed from east to west. The resulting force or torque is directed upward. All three, current, magnetic field, and force, are perpendicular to each other, and that's the main concept here. Now, you can think of the electromagnet as flat, with the south pole pointing up. The armature spins until opposite poles match up. We can keep it spinning by switching the wires like before, but manually switching wires is a hassle, so we add a special part called a commutator. It's a ring with gaps on opposite sides, and it spins with the armature. Now we connect the circuit using two brushes on the sides. These brushes stay in contact with the commutator as it turns. Electricity flows from the wire through the brush into the commutator ring, through the armature loop, and back out the other side. Now the electromagnet is powered and the armature spins. As it turns, the brushes switch to the other side of the commutator ring. After switching, it flows the opposite way. This reverses the electromagnet's polarity, keeping the armature spinning. The commutator does the same thing we did manually by switching the wires, but now it happens automatically. The motor will keep spinning as long as the battery is connected. Disconnect the battery, and the spinning stops. So far, we've only used one loop in the armature. This can make the motor spin unevenly or even get stuck if the brushes land between commutator segments. To fix this, we divide the commutator ring and add another loop. At first, the brushes touch one set of commutator segments, powering one electromagnet, which starts spinning. Then, as it turns, the brushes switch to the next segments, turning off the first loop and activating the next one. Now, this electromagnet takes over and keeps the spin going. As the brushes keep switching, different loops take turns being active. The force that makes the armature spin is called torque. A stronger torque means faster spinning. We can boost torque in a couple of ways. One is by adding more wire. More wire means stronger electromagnets. That's why if you look at real motors, you'll see a lot of tightly wound wires. Another way to strengthen the motor is by using more electricity. And then, this whole system, the armature, is attached to a shaft, which serves as the main rotating component. This shaft is critical for transmitting mechanical power, and can be connected to various external components, allowing the motor to drive different devices. The entire setup is then structured in a more organized manner, ensuring efficiency and durability. Finally, it's enclosed within a sturdy metal housing, which not only protects the internal components, but also enhances heat dissipation and overall reliability. This is the motor we see and rely on every day, powering countless devices, from household appliances to industrial machinery, making modern life more convenient and efficient.